Okay, so we have our first judge who will join, David.
Hey, Maria, how are
Hi,
you?
David. How are you since yesterday?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Pleased to see you in here again. I guess I'm in the right room, right?
Yes, you're in the right room,
Okay,
yellow bridge room. We're the better room, but don't tell anyone.
yeah.
I have Namita as well. Hi, Namita.
Hi Maria, how are you?
Good.
I'm fine, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can
Yeah,
hear
we can
you.
hear
And
you
we can
fine.
see you.
Yeah. I have to admit, I just literally clicked on everybody's LinkedIn profile and added you. So I'm there ready to connect with you in LinkedIn. I noticed you're working with Roberto in InReach.
Yes, have you met Roberto before?
Yeah, pretty much. Me and Roberto spends nearly every evening together. The last few
On
weeks.
Clubhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
He's a big fan of Clubhouse.
I love him. I
Yeah.
love the guy. I actually tweeted out one of his things that he said on there the other day, which was really amazing. He was like, we were talking about, how venture capitalists, etc., are always too busy to talk and like warm intros and all the rest of it. And he said, like, the one thing that people forget is that the founders are the customers. This is the only industry that the customers get kind of treated like this. He said it's all founder. All the rest is bullshit. I loved it. Yeah. And he says it with a beautiful accent as well, right? Which just comes across so well on Clubhouse. But he's a superstar on Clubhouse, I'd say, especially in and around the tech community. He's a really good guy.
Yeah, he's hosted some really interesting sessions.
So we have a third judge joining. I just wanted to say, if you guys wanted to introduce yourself, just a small intro so that the guys at the audience can know a little bit about your background. Hello, Brihan.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
No complaints.
Good. I was just saying to Namita and David as well, if you guys would like to give a 1-minute intro to yourselves for the audience, just before we start the pitches.
Sure.
Great. Would you like to start?
Oh, me? Yeah, sure. I am Brian Burke. I work at Keen Venture Partners, which is an Amsterdam and London-based firm. We invest across Europe at the Series A, Series B stage. So everything from B2B to B2C to marketplaces. That's us in a nutshell.
Great, thank you. David, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so I'm David Bolton. I work at DIP Capital. We invest on a pan-European basis in asset-light, highly scalable businesses, so tech-driven software businesses rather than hardware businesses. Series A plus, B2B, B2B2C, but also marketplaces where you have B2B on one side, B2C on the other side. Tickets ranging between 1 to 6 million, with the average being first ticket 3 million is what we target. And the idea is to kind of have a very kind of concentrated portfolio compared to what most VC funds have, but being able to kind of have that high conviction-led investing and being able to support the portfolio companies that we back.
Great, thank you, David. Namita?
Hi, I work at InReach Ventures. We're an AI-powered venture capital firm, and we invest in early-stage startups across Europe. Where we invest anywhere between 300K and 2 million euro. And we invest out of a 60 million euro institutional fund, which we started deploying about 2 years ago. And we're focused on early-stage software as a service, consumer internet and marketplace startups. We're a London-based firm, and we sort of use data-driven methods to source startups. So most of our team is software engineers, and then there's 4 of us on the investment team. So that's just a quick summary on InReach.
Great, thank you. So I hope you guys are excited. We have some great startups who are pitching today. I don't know if you can hear me well. Is there any?
I'm just getting a little bit of feedback on my side as well. Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from.
Sometimes when we all have, I don't know what's happening, our microphone zone, I think it happens. So when the startups are pitching, I'm going to ask you to have your cameras and microphones off so that we don't have that kind of backlash. For the startups, I just wanted to say, you guys already know you have 4 minutes to pitch and 5 minutes of valuable feedback from our judges and questions. So please try to keep to the timeline. I will give you a 30 seconds warning, both for your pitch and for the feedback, so that we can keep as close to the 10 minutes as possible. If you have any technical issues, let me know in the chat so that we can sort it as soon as possible. And I will let you know in the chat as well, approximately 5 minutes before it's your time to request audio and video. So I think that that's all the information I had to say. I hope it's clear. Our first startup is Assetpool. And we have Michael Kirk already waiting in the line. So I'm going to pop him in. Hello, Michael.
Hi, guys. How you doing? Okay, let me get going here. So I'm getting hold of you guys from Canada today. We are based out of South Africa, Canada, and the UK. Assetpool is a company that I kind of accidentally started because I needed a platform to solve a problem I had in another business which I own, which is in the fire protection industry. There wasn't a software out there that could, if say for example we got an order to go out and service and maintain a building like Sandton City or a big building anywhere in South Africa or the rest of the world, and we didn't know what assets they had, for example, fire protection equipment. We would go out there for the first time, and then we would have to, a lot of software businesses have to bring back that information, capture it in Excel spreadsheets, upload it into their platform, and then create the assets in the platform. Whereas we just affix a QR code or an NFC chip onto the asset, and we identify it in the field, and it's all live, comes through live. So that's what's unique about Assetpool, is the way that we onboard in the field. One of the key things that we had to design for was ease of use, and specifically in places like South Africa, where there's a lot of people that are haven't been educated all the way through matric or school. You need to make this really easy for them, and also the older people, some people who don't like tech. If you give them a platform to use, they don't like technology, they may not adopt it. So we've been very successful with ease of use. Total available market, we can go through this in the questions afterwards. You can see some of our clients on the left there, UK, Canada, and obviously South Africa. Traction to date, we started our proof of concept testing in October 2018. We went to market in August 2019. Obviously, lockdown hits. One of the things we didn't lock down because COVID-19 essentially is a check. You can check somebody's symptoms on a piece of paper. We pivoted it for COVID screening, which we helped a lot of businesses and schools actually screen their people or their pupils. And that also just showed us if we were ready to scale, and helped us understand our architecture. And we were very successful. And a lot of the customers that we've had are staying on even post-COVID because they just like the platform and what we're giving them. And it's obviously digital and paperless. Bosch Smart Mining, well, Bosch Smart Inspection by Assetpool. So Bosch and Assetpool have been partnering for a while now, and Bosch have successfully got a trial implemented at Anglo American, and we're hoping to get go-ahead by Glencore this week. We've got a few customers, and this isn't reflected in our projected numbers, but a lot of our customers are coming to us now and going to us and saying, listen, can we take this to our customers? So guys that already have an existing client base, Surtags is really excited. We're working very closely with them. They are a global business that provides a tagging solution, but that would be a once-off sale. Now they can do more than just sell a tag to somebody. Now they can sell a platform as well. The business model we can go through after the pitch if you want to, and I can talk to you about the different ways that we price this. We've just deployed IoT NFC into our platform. So NFC obviously enabled phones can now interact with chips, and IoT, we've got our first modules up testing at the moment. So we've got a couple guys here from South Africa, the UK, and then obviously myself, I'm in Canada, and you can find out a bit more about us if you need to. Financials, this is our projections based on organic growth without funding, and obviously not taking into consideration platform as a service. Any reviews in that, you guys can go to Capterra. We've got some great reviews coming through there and who our competition are. Investment, we're looking for $2 million, really for development to make sure that we are adequately resourced, and we haven't spent anything on marketing to date, and that's the next thing. We need to market this thing now and get selling the product and make people around the world aware of us. And that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Are we missing Namita? I think something happened and she left the chat. Okay, thank you. Great job, Michael. Judges, it's up to you for the feedback now.
So I'm happy to go first. Thanks ever so much for the pitch, Michael. I think that, you know, in 4 minutes, it's always very difficult to be able to cover a lot, especially the business model that you've got, etc. is a little bit probably needs digging into a bit more. Just I guess one of the first questions that came to my mind was you mentioned that you've got another business that you're also running. So how does that work with Assetpool versus the other business? What's the relationship there, and what's your kind of time considerations between each? And if you did secure financing, is there still a commitment for you to be in the other business as well, or how does that work?
Well, I'm the major shareholder in both businesses. So Assetpool, I've appointed, or well, one of the very first shareholders who bought in used to be my boss of 18 years. So he left his previous business, and that we both worked in. He came across, and he runs Assetpool as our CEO. I am leading the charge in Canada along with Drew in the UK. And yeah, I'm fully committed. I've got a team of people that run my other business, so they just report the numbers to me, and I release the money. So there's no issues there.
Okay, I guess I'll go again then. You mentioned the partnership with Bosch. It seems to be quite substantial for the business at the moment. I mean, how does that look? Is it a revenue share model? Are they providing you? Are they a channel partner for you? Is there exclusivity for the platform in certain regions, geographies? What does that kind of relationship look like?
Yeah, there's no exclusivity, but they are selling Bosch Smart Inspection as their product. When we need to go to meetings with them, we wear our Bosch cap, and we go into the Glencores and Anglo Americans, and yeah, that's what we do. And we help them secure those clients, and it is a revenue share model. It's 50-50, and they charge a different premium to what we can charge out there.
So are you guys white labeling when you work with them, or do you have your own sort of logo visible as well?
No, so it's fully branded application. So we are going down that road with all of the guys. So we purely we're offering our platform as a service, branded fully for them, but it's all running on our infrastructure in the back end.
Okay, got it. And one of my main questions was, with such a big TAM, and I really like the fact that you guys pivoted during COVID. I think very smart. But you know, with somebody like Bosch on your side and a big TAM and a bunch of use cases, how do you think about sort of who your core customer is and where you're going to actually start within industry or customer type, et cetera, to try and be a little more streamlined when you go to market?
Well, I mean, we've already gone to market and we've got a whole bunch of different customers. Assetpool, I can't show you enough in a 4-minute pitch or even in this. So I'd need to take you into the platform and how different companies are using it. It's really designed and it's adaptable to different business processes. So we help various different companies that are rental companies to construction companies. And we really help you digitize your business, take you from what you do on paper to doing it digitally now, and get some real amazing reporting out of it. So we've got one of our first customers that came on board. They're a big rental agency. They're the Genie dealer in South Africa called Gospel Access. And we've helped them they save a lot of money. What they pay us for our platform for the year, they make back in 1 month.
And I guess, you know, what's stopping Bosch from doing something similar themselves?
They've even said to us, they've said, look, we've got access to all these engineers and a whole bunch of different people. They just say it's so difficult to actually get a team inside Bosch to focus primarily on this to try to get this right. The fact of the matter is, David, I mean, they would be starting now. They're telling their customers that they've got this platform, but they don't have it in-house, so they need us to help them take it to the market. Now, if they go and build it themselves, it's going to take them 2-3 years, and there's no guarantee they're going to get it right. We have got it right.
Sorry.
Please go ahead, please.
I missed the first sort of few minutes of the presentation due to sort of...
Great. Well, let me introduce you guys to Skin in Motion. My name is Gia, and I'm a celebrity makeup artist, and I'm a massive fitness enthusiast. I've spent 15 years really understanding the power of makeup and skincare by making up hundreds of amazing people. And I'm also very evangelical about the power of exercise, how it can really boost you both physically, but really importantly, how it boosts you mentally as well. But when I found out that 75% of women are put off exercise by their appearance, as a fitness lover, I was really sad by this. I also found out that 50% of women who exercise are interested in makeup that stays in place during exercise, but they don't know what to use. And this is a problem. There's a problem. Using the wrong makeup and skincare or exercising can be damaging, unhealthy, and unfit for purpose. But there is a need, but no complete solution on the market for active lifestyles, despite the size of the prize, the industry of wellness, beauty, and fitness that we cover. So in order to achieve my vision, I needed someone to come in who had a proven experience in this category and help ensure success. Welcome Sophia Lalou. She's got 15 years experience in Unilever as a senior director, and she led global 1 billion personal care brands like Sunsilk and Tresemme. Together, we started Skin in Motion. And our mission is very simple. We want to promote the positive and mental physical benefits of exercise by empowering women with confidence-boosting makeup and skincare that's uniquely formulated for active lives. The range itself, the makeup, it's sweat-proof, breathable, so it doesn't clog your pores. Panda eye-proof, the skincare sweat-dissolving, cooling, it's super hydrating. And how have we done in the last year? Well, we launched in January 2020, and we've really had a chance, despite COVID, to really build our community. We've reached over 3 million people online. We've got over 3,000 followers on Instagram who are all deeply engaged. And also wonderfully, we've had stacks of free self-generated influencer content. Our stories are totally full. So who are we loved by? Well, consumers. They're constantly giving us 5-star reviews, and they're even comparing us and preferring us, rather fortunately, to the likes of Charlotte Tilbury, Dior, Bobbi Brown, and a whole load of others. Also, we're used by professional athletes, professional makeup artists, and we gave a lot of product during lockdown to NHS workers who've been wearing the products which work very well under PPE. We've been featured in a whole host of top British titles. And last month, we launched on Look Fantastic, one of the Hut Group beauty sites, one of the biggest globally. And we're just this week launching on Amazon as a vendor. So they're buying from us, which is fantastic. And at the end of last year, we won Best New Business of 2020 by Women's Business Club. And we're continuing to build strong business metrics. Our AOV is going up, our conversion rate's going up, and our lifetime value. But we're now ready to accelerate this proven concept. The intention is to build a really highly profitable business with a strong and differentiated brand within 5 years. We've created a successful, scalable model covering big and growing industries, as well as tapping into a real unmet need. But we want to build the momentum by increasing our reach and penetration. And to do that, we need £300,000 investment. 130 of that is SEIS tax relief. We're looking at a 5-year exit strategy, and in 2024, reaching easily a revenue of 14 million. So where's the money going? Well, it's going primarily into marketing, innovation, and recruitment to really accelerate the sales and revenue. And what's our growth strategy? Well, it's to create an omni-channel presence with direct-to-consumer to e-retail, plus gyms and referrals, to increase our geographical footprint and enter new growing product categories like male grooming, ingestibles, hair and body. So if you'd like to join us on this journey to make that possible, I'd love to chat to you. That's it. Thank you. Nice to meet you all, guys.
Yeah, lovely to meet you too.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go first this time, if that's cool.
That's good.
The primary thing I'd love to hear a little bit about is the go-to-market. I know that you guys look fantastic. That's a great win, particularly so early on. Amazon is sort of famed for being difficult to work with. But at the same time, the beauty industry has such difficult sort of margins to work with. So it can be very compelling to go on your own site. How do you guys sort of think about your primary acquisition strategies? Would you like to acquire people via like what channels? And then where would you ideally like them to buy as you scale?
Well, we're sort of a DTC primarily. So our first sort of primary area to get consumers is through our DTC. And that's where we want to put majority of our money. But we also are very aware of how it can fluctuate on DTC. We've been using it for a year. We've really built up a really good user base and developed we know what creative works, etc. So primary is DTC, and so we own our customers and we can communicate with them a lot. The other side, obviously, was e-retailers. So it's very important for us to, part of the investment, we want to bring in a commercial director who can really accelerate the different channels, who's got experience in that to know where to go and help us sort of craft that growth. We're already speaking to quite a lot of other e-retailers who want us to come on board, which is fantastic, but it's about being strategic about that. So it's looking at them as we go and working with the commercial director in order to build that. And we're also looking at other channels which are very untapped, that very few beauty brands can go into, like gyms, affiliate programs. So those are other channels that, and we find that a lot of fitness events and all sorts of other places are really, really keen to work with us because we sort of straddle all these different markets. So I hope that answers sort of part of your question.
Yeah, I think that's really helpful. Thanks. And I guess, oh, go ahead, David.
No, please go ahead.
What?
No, I was just going to say I loved your presentation. I mean, as I was thinking, okay, so what about this? You were coming up with the answers, and I always love that about a presentation. I thought you come across really well. A couple of points kind of came to my mind. One around the kind of the relationship that you have with your, is it a co-founder? Was it Sophia?
Yes.
You said that she's already built billion-dollar brands within the organizations that she's worked at before. How does that kind of work? Is she a co-founder, 50% share with you? How is that relationship?
Well, we both work exactly the same amount of time. We're both 100% dedicated in full time running the business, and we are equal shareholders as well. So I came up with the concept a while ago. I was lucky enough to someone to introduce me to her, and she saw the potential in it. It was just, I think, if you're a founder, you come up with an idea, you want to, it's so important to find someone who believes in the vision, who's got the skills, who's got the talent. And I think, it's like a sort of dating game. We met, it was a really good time. And she'd stopped working at uni to have kids, and she's now available to work full time with me, the two of us. So it's actually really lovely that we're both pushing together. And when one of, I think it's a lovely dynamic we both have, and we both play on each other's strengths. And it's like, oh, that's more your thing, that's more my thing. And it's a lovely relationship, actually.
And I'd like this market. I can see there's a real big use case for it, right? I mean, it's a very difficult product to kind of manufacture. I mean, what's stopping other huge players coming in and doing something similar? I mean, do you guys have some kind of IP around it? Or have you developed like a secret sauce that nobody else is able to kind of copy? I mean, how does that work?
Well, within the beauty industry, it's very much about brand. It's the brand identity, the brand love, what consumers associate with you as a brand more than necessarily with what's in the product. So when we were developing our products, we can find other things that we like and we take them to the cosmetic chemist, and the good cosmetic chemist can create something that's already in existence, but better. So it's not too important for us about having a secret sauce. It's about building the brand. It's about consumers and how they engage with us. And your question, which is very good, about why can't other people do this? I think what's interesting, a few years ago, I was doing a makeup artist shoot, and I met the vice president of Reebok globally. And I said, so when I started thinking about this, I said, you really should be doing something like this. Well, before I actually decided I would do it. And he said, well, no, because why would Reebok do it? We haven't got the authority. We haven't trainers. We have in sort of, fabric, but we don't in makeup. We need a makeup artist. We need someone who knows about it to do it. We also spoke to Sweaty Betty, and we were years ago going to do a white label for them. But they also wanted someone, you need a founder who tells an authentic story. And because of my kind of two skill sets of makeup and fitness, it gives us a competitive advantage over the bigger brands like Cliniques, who came out with a range. But again, they don't have that authenticity. So that's what sort of allows us to have quite a lot of strength in the market. And people really like that kind of connecting with founders and sort of startup businesses. There's in the beauty industry at the moment, that's where the big Unilevers, the big L'Oreals want to buy into more independent brands that have got more of a personality. Any more questions?
Yeah, so I guess I think I agree. I really like the fact that you guys bring two very strong but very different sort of strengths to the table as co-founders. The ACV going up is all great, but I think one thing I'd love to hear a little bit more is exactly that, the authenticity, and how do you guys sort of measure customer love, given that that's sort of the biggest driving force of a D2C brand often? Like, how do you want to really cultivate that going forward?
Well, I think what's great, and particularly with lockdown, you're able to engage so much more directly with your consumer through social media, and that is a channel that is huge. And how we, part of the money we want to put in is creating that awareness, but continuing to build that awareness by bringing PR in, etc. But really, the kind of influencer strategy is key, and we can measure. We can see how many influencers are talking about us, talking about the brand, independently liking it and referencing it, and there's a huge trust in that. So that then, and we can see how many people follow. And also in reviews, you can go into reviews, independent reviews, and you can see how much people are liking the product. And then obviously you see the repeat purchase. If we're owning the consumer, we can see who's coming back, and that's starting to grow. And we'll also look fantastic. We've got some stats through them, and we're getting, again, very good reviews on their site. So that's how different touch points allows you to judge how well you're doing.
Gia, thank you so much. We're gonna have to wrap up because we have the next startup in line. But thank you for an amazing talk.
Nice to meet you guys. Enjoy the rest of the session.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.
Okay, so now we have Ronald from Better Risk.
All right, thank you, Maria. Good evening, Brihan. Good evening, Namita. Good evening, David. Thank you very much for your time. So my name is Ron Chirchangu. I'm co-founder and CEO of Better Risk. So my background, I started off on the actuarial side. I actually grew up in Zimbabwe and spent the last 20 years in London, and 10 of which were at UBS. And then most recently, over the last 7 years, working with a lot of those institutional clients, including through Better Risk. So we're basically a risk tech, fintech for mid-sized financial institutions and SMEs. So that includes banks, pension funds, insurers, and asset managers. What is the problem? So our client systems really don't talk together, which means that key decision makers in an enterprise don't have a holistic view of what is going on. So the ability to combine, market risk, financial risk, strategic risk, operational risk, increasingly these days, cyber risk, climate change in a centralized platform to be able to really understand the enterprise risk and volatility is really central. And as part of this process, we can see the consequences of not having some of these business capabilities. We've seen problems like Metro Bank, Citigroup recently, where they sent the wrong loan process to the wrong account, and there's still a shortfall. Some of the money doesn't come back. Wells Fargo, for instance, they some of their customer representatives were opening accounts for customers, which customers had not requested those accounts. What is Better Risk trying to do? We're trying to essentially transform by providing this holistic risk management journey and really embedding risk management into first-line decision-making. How do we do that? The ability to centralize enterprise data is key. So some clients have systems that are not really modern. Some people are still writing some of these things on spreadsheets. The ability to really have strong enterprise-wide risk models, and the ability and capability from a business intelligence perspective to use those actionable insights making is quite key. Things like stress testing, scenario analysis, very important. We have a very strong team, so very entrepreneurial founder. My co-founder, her background is in pharmacy. She's got a PhD in pharmacy, a lot of experience with corporates. Demetrios, his background from IBM, CPO, really a very diverse team, a strong team. So we're actually part of the new accelerator right now out of the US. So New Chip are based out of Texas. They're basically kind of a 3-4-year-old online accelerator based out of the US. So that has really allowed us to take the business to the kind of the next stage of our growth. We also have a very strong team of advisors with global experience in Europe and in the US. Why do we see this opportunity? Part of it is because we've had the experience over these years to work with some of these large clients, implementing custom solutions for them. So the likes of AXA, Aviva, Friends, UBS, and LNG. We have a pipeline of clients who are waiting to use the solution. So part of the raise is going to build the MVP. So we have quite a strong portfolio of interest.
30 seconds.
There's a fork in the road. Part of the fork is the ability to build this high-touch solution, which includes money services, and the ARR for that is quite high, upwards of 200,000. And then we have this option to build a low-touch solution, which is around that sort of 1,000 ARR, based on an enterprise dashboard and supported by an eLearn EdTech solution that allows us to roll this in more numbers. We'll then be able to sell this into enterprise ecosystems like Temenos, SAP, Finastra, and Odoo. Our market 16 billion now in terms of business intelligence, 12 billion in terms of risk, and growing at quite a healthy CAGR. So our TAM is about 28 billion. In terms of the high-touch solution, we've provided a roadmap. Again, there's different components of building a full enterprise risk solution. We're expecting in 3 years to be doing around 26 million in revenue and at least 73 clients. 1 million of the raise is going to go to product development, and some of it's going to personnel. The rest going to operations, working capital, sales, and marketing. Who are our competitors? So some of the big names include companies like SAS and Metric Stream. Now the key here is the ability to be able to offer an adaptable solution and then grow in different cohorts. So things like predictive analytics, and then really be able to to offer both solutions to key clients in terms of the low touch and high touch. So essentially that's it. The last slide here is just talking about what's happening in the market. So out in North America, you've got a business in Canada, Digit, who in the last couple of years did a Series A to build a similar solution for wealth management. So there's a lot of activity in the space, as well as on the mature side, the big merger between LSC and Refinitiv. All right, thank you, and we can open it up to questions. Thank you.
Ronald, judges.
Namita, would you like to have a go?
Yeah, I'm sure. Hi, Ronald.
Hi, Namita.
Presentation. In terms of sort of your target customers, given that they're sort of mid and large sized enterprises, what is usually the sales cycle associated with the sort of sales process, and who is usually the decision maker at the financial services firm? Who do you tend to sell to?
So the last part is the CFO, so they're going to be key. So in as much as this is a risk solution, but part of the reason why we want to move to a strategic area is to get the CFO board. Now, the decision times tend to be anywhere from 4 to 6 months. Why we have this fork in the road solution, which includes this low touch, which we're able to scale up quickly. So what's interesting, as part of the accelerator, we've actually talked to 4 VC firms in the last 2 weeks, including one out of North America that contacted us after the January demo week, and they're interested in putting us for their Series A in 12 months, and they've given us very clear KPIs based on an exit that they've done. So, I think that ability to really scale very quickly, the low touch solution enables us to do that and to move quickly in time periods much shorter than 3 months in terms of implementation. It's really that high touch solution that's going to take time. Thank you, Namita.
I think just to kind of, I guess add on to Namita's point, really, it's around about the kind of choices that these. I mean, it's obviously a market that there are several choices already on the market when you're coming to getting an RFP type of proposal, right? I mean, how are you guys competing against some of these other players in the market? And have you had many wins, or what have been the reasons why you're selected over and above others?
Okay, thank you, David. So a lot of the work we've done was kind of leveraging that managed services model and implementing third-party solutions. So it's really in the last 2 years that we pivoted to start building our own technology. So we've got the prototype ready, and we're actually now starting to MVP with some of these clients. So I think it's number one, credibility in terms of understanding what's happening in the market. So a lot of these are regulatory driven. As you can imagine, in Europe, Solvency II, Basel III, Basel IV, what's happening in climate risk. So I think the ability to be able to take that and then combine it with those enterprise risk insights is going to be key. So some of it is certainly market driven. A good example in insurance as well as things like IFRS 17. But I think the key issue is going to be understanding the strategic piece, and then things like climate change and cyber risk, which are really emerging, and that niche, to be able to bring them together, I think is going to be key.
Thank you, Ronald. Thank you. Guys, I'm sorry, I have to wrap up. Ronald went a little bit over his speech time, but you can definitely contact him if you have any more questions. You too, Ronald. Thank you so much for your
Thanks
speech.
so much, Ronald.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care, Ronald.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
We're going to move on with Matthew from the Cauldron Co. Hello, Matthew.
Hi,
Thank you for popping in early.
No problem,
Hey,
Ken. Good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Cortland. I'm the co-founder of the Cauldron Company. So what if I told you that childhood is never gone, and that imagination is not just for kids, and that magic is real? We are the Cauldron Company, a technology-led entertainment studio that produces immersive experiences and products that bring magic and fantasy to life in a real interactive way for our customers. So we produce in-person potion making experiences that blend proprietary IoT magic wands with molecular mixology and an interactive cocktail experience and a food and beverage overall experience, a restaurant, a cocktail bar, and then at-home experiences for customers that bring products home and magic home for them. So our magic wands actually work, and this is the Cauldron in Dublin. We've got a unicorn that dispenses gin cocktail from its mouth with a magic wand. Hearing from some of our customers about what we do, this was the highlight for my trip to London. Everything from the atmosphere to the drinks was perfect. I had a magical time. I posted this on Instagram stories and sent at least 5 or 6 people to the link to purchase. This was awesome. This experience changed my life. Some highlights about our company. We've been going for about 2.5 years in operations, over 8.5, at this point, over 12.5 million pounds in revenue, 350,000 people through the door, across our venues in London, Edinburgh, Dublin, and Manhattan. Served over 1 million potions, and we have kind of a cult following with our customers that come and see us in different cities around the world and come back numerous times. We've been really fortunate to be in some of the top media in the world. We were named the #1 reason to visit London and #1 bar you need to see in London by some pretty reputable establishments, and the top 10 quirkiest pubs and bars in London. So elephant in the room, a part of our business operates in food and beverage and in-person experiences. So COVID affected our company pretty substantially, and it forced us to pivot into kind of using our IP in a different way. But some of the ways that we responded dynamically to COVID is to diversify our offering to consumer retail products for at-home experiences. We launched a COVID-safe venue in central London. That's a 5-floor venue. We moved our cocktail making experiences to virtual cocktail classes, and we adapted what we already do, which was already pretty COVID safe, to fit within government guidelines. So here's an example from our retail shop. We sell a bunch of different products now to speak to our customers. This is from the Cauldron in New York about how it was adapting through outside bubbles and potion making outside on Stone Street. It's the oldest street in New York City where we're located. And in the past 6 months, we opened a new venue, debuted a brand new magic wand building experience. We're featured in the BBC, secured about 340,000 pounds toward our seed round. We partnered with mermaids to build an inclusive, trans accepting magical community, and we grew our team where it made sense. We're also currently in an accelerator program by Growth Lab, by Start Out, for LGBT founded companies. Okay, just some features about us in the BBC, our partnership with mermaids. Where we're headed is to raise the remainder of our round and to launch a few new products and services, specifically a WizKit subscription service. And we are opening up our own investment platform on our own website, similar to what Brewdog has done, to turn our customer database and our customers into owners of our company. So right now we're building a cohort for early access to that. You can apply for early access here. And so having conversations with people from strategic investors to smaller investors who want to be involved in what we do.
Hi, Matthew. Very nice to meet you. Fantastic presentation. And as soon as COVID is over, I'm definitely going to come to one of your events. I can't wait to get, I think it's going to be like the Roaring '20s as soon as it's finished, right? So I think you're probably, probably been hit a bit hard over COVID period, over the pandemic, but coming out of it, definitely an interesting type of business model to get back into. It's going to be boom years for you, I guess. Just a question from my side. Exactly, it's a bit of magic. Just a question from my side really is, how much of the round is left? I mean, and are you going on a crowdfunding type of website for this? Because I think this type of product must be ideal for that kind of, like you said, you know, the crowdfunding type of atmosphere, getting the customers to really buy into the product, etc.
Thanks for your question, David. So we raised, you're correct in your assessment of what we've interpreted as the best path forward for the company right now. So we went on Seedrs and we raised the first part of the seed round on Seedrs. So we secured 340,000 pounds through Seedrs directly. And now we are then shifting the second part of our raise to our own platform. In a similar way what Brewdog has done. They started on Crowdcube and then they migrated to their own platform and took away some of the barriers that cold customers need to go through in order to invest. So we've built our own platform where we can sell securities directly to consumers and to our customers, and that's going to be launching in the next few weeks. And this round, it's our first round. It's going to be up to 2.2 million is the goal for it, and we've secured 340 of it. So there's still quite a space to go.
I guess on that note, you guys are very established for, you know, business normally raising 2 million. It's on an idea, and you guys have multiple locations and at-home kits, et cetera. So, you know, outside of just cash, what is it that you're sort of looking for from an investor? Like, what do you want in a partner?
So strategic investment would be ideal, right? Someone who has background and experience in growing franchises or a license model, or in deep technology like the type that we're inventing and making in our workshop, or it's someone who can, I think, provide something else to the company besides just investment. Although that would be great too, right? The reason that we're raising funds, so we've been profitable since our first month of actually opening our doors, and the reason we're raising funds is to scale as quickly as possible. We've created an off-the-shelf pop-up experience that we can then send to venues around the world. And so part of the way that we're doing this raise is as a lead generation activity as much as it is a fundraising activity. So how do you build one of the top 10 things in London or in Edinburgh or New York? You let millions of people become shareholders in it and have a stake in it and bring people into the tent. And that's kind of, we believe that magic really is for everyone.
Hi, Matthew. Thank you for presenting. I'd love to hear how you sort of came up with the idea, since it's so unique, and where you sort of found your inspiration.
Yeah, so I began my career as a reading teacher, as a high school teacher in the United States with Teach for America. And I love fantasy. It's how I got my students to love reading and love literature and love learning. I taught struggling readers. And then from there, wanted to move into education and technology, and began working in a technology company. I did a few different master's programs that broadly shaped my understanding of how to build tech and how to shape education. And through that, just have the idea to make a working magic wand that works, and then how that can be the centerpiece to an interactive experience. So everything we do is about imagination and creativity and letting people feel like kids again. I've got a demo. We got dragon eggs. We just came out. These haven't been released yet. But this is, let me see if I can show you. So these are our dragon eggs. These are like kind of the next product that we're going to put out. So we try to, during COVID, we shifted what we do from an in-person experience to an at-home, bring magic home, use our IP in a different way that still engages with our customers.
And if we have questions for just one more quick question, I mean,
sure.
Where do you see the business going over the longer term? Is it going to be kind of just the physical type of presence, or like you touched upon, do you see it somehow becoming this type of interactive, maybe more of a virtual, more of a kind of outsourced type of model where you have events in-house and a tech platform kind of connecting?
Yeah, so I mean, I would describe us as a technology-led entertainment studio. And part of what we're trying to do is to gather a cohort of customers, recurring customers that span multiple localities, that it's not just in-person experiences and in-person bars and restaurants and venues, but it can be part of what we do can be digital as well. But I think that the strategy of how we intend to grow is to build mailing lists of customers in the cities where we operate to then deploy new concepts at scale. So we go to San Francisco and we open the Cauldron version 1. We build 20,000 people that come. Then we launch version 2 of the Cauldron 7 months later, 8 months later. We reactivate that audience, bring more people in. Version 3, then we launch our superheroes concept, bring it to San Francisco. We have a really primed database of customers that are ready to go, and you can kind of deploy new concepts at scale. Because what we do, the heart of our studio is a technology and engineering studio where we invent new experiences and products. And so we can keep popping those things out. Kind of the imagination is the limit and how you go about doing that. But we intend to go to a lot of cities pretty quickly.
Very impressive, Matthew. Thank you. Thank you so much for your pitch. We enjoyed it a lot.
If you have any questions, please let me know. And if you want to get in contact, like I said, we're building our cohort of early stage investors right now. So my email's on the deck, and feel free to get in contact.
All right, fantastic.
Thanks so much.
Have a good night, everyone.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
So thanks again. So our company is Cyan Reef, and our mission is to enable people to invest money with positive purpose. And the reason why we're doing it is because our economies face a major challenge. We must transition towards a more sustainable future. And this is not an option anymore, but a crucial requirement for coming decades. At the same time, this is a massive investment opportunity. Many people think that investing with impact sacrifices profits, but this is actually not true. Impact investing is profitable and creates many new wealthy investors. People have a clear ambition to make a difference and invest their money with positive purpose. In fact, 83% of investors would like to invest with impact, but only 23% actually do. Why is this the case? Because investing is difficult and regular people don't have access, tools, and guidance to do this right. This is why we created Cyan Reef. It is a digital financial advisor for impact. We make it possible for people to make great financial decisions while making a positive difference to the world. With our platform, users can invest their savings in long-term investments with impact. Here's how it works. Users open an investment account, specify their preferences, goals, and values, and our platform automatically manages investments for them, just like a professional advisor or private banker. So this is where you can select your investment preferences in terms of risk and return, and importantly, your impact preferences. You can specify your plans, your budget for important life events. You can see your wealth growing. You can see your allocations. You can control, you have a full control over the types of assets and investments that you are making. And of course, you harvest your investments. You can use your distributions and reinvest your investment returns in further investments. Importantly, all of our investment assets are impact oriented. The opportunities include clean energy, climate, new technology, equality, and many others. Our platform saves time, money, and gets better results than other options on the market. Our team has been building financial products for over 20 years. We actually started this company because we see a very important need to start a new company with positive new legacy in impact finance. It is the area where we have a strong experience and the ability to take the market lead. So our success follows a very simple formula. We use technology in order to create access and efficiency to win the markets. This startup is actually a spin-off from my own asset management advisory company, which I grew to 15 people. And we felt that it was important to create a management-driven startup. I'm also a professor of finance at University of Nantes in France and previously at Erasmus University in the Netherlands. And I have led academic research on impact and how a new financial infrastructure can create more efficient and more fair, equitable markets. So it is through this experience that we see a very important, a big importance of impact finance. And this is why we started this startup. We are at the stage where, thank you. We are at this stage where we open opportunity for the seed investments, and our budget goes towards the technology, operations, and marketing. We are now at the stage where we are ready to enter the market, and we are raising the seed funding. We understand the importance of proper market entry in terms of reputation and branding. And therefore, we wish to partner with those investors who believe in the mission of positive finance. Thank you so much, and I look forward to your questions.
Hi, Vlado. Thank you for presenting. I just wanted to ask, are you targeting sort of retail investors, so the same sort of target market as a Robinhood or a Food Trade?
Yes. So our target investors are mostly young people and young professionals and middle class. We actually realize that there is a huge market gap in terms of the professional financial advisory services. So most of the current alternative is to go to a professional advisor. The minimum ticket is about 300,000 euros to get a professional advice for long-term wealth management.
Brihan, sorry, can you turn the camera on because we can't see you?
Oh,
sorry.
No, it's not you, Vlado, Brihan.
No, sorry, keep talking. That's something on my end. It says it's on. I'll figure it out.
Okay, yeah. So that's the target audience, especially the new users. In fact, we are looking specifically for blue ocean. We're not necessarily looking to compete with say, the established advisors, but we're looking at the new market of new users who don't have large amounts of assets right now, but they're expected to actually accumulate these assets over their lifetime.
And what's your revenue model? Do you plan to monetize straight away, or is the plan to sort of gain significant traction before monetizing?
The business model is a very traditional asset management model. So there's a percentage of fees, assets under management, plus subscription fees for premium users. But the difference is that we can be actually much more competitive in terms of unit economics over the current alternatives.
And I guess just a question from my side is, you said you've already got your own asset management company with 18 employees or whatever it might be, 20 employees. I can't remember exactly. But why are you looking for somebody else to fund this business? I mean, 350K, if I would have guessed, is not a huge ticket for yourself. I mean, have you thought about kind of financing this yourself for a while before going out for other investors?
Yes, thank you, David. I'm really glad you asked. You are completely right. Our business is actually the advisory business. So we're actually creating financial products for other institutions, and we typically sell this to other institutions, and we do this one at a time. But we saw the opportunity in impact finance, and we figured that this is not something that we want to sell to other institutions, because we really see a very important grassroots market that we want to capture ourselves. And you are completely right. We could actually do this ourselves. The train is moving anyway, but we realized that it's very, very important to get the market entry right. We never did anything in the retail market. And we were specifically looking for a lot of mileage in terms of reputation, in terms of help with branding, and of course, there has to be some ticket in order to play. So that's why we are open for outside investors.
Is about finish soon. So I will also tell you from the phone, you know.
Well, that wasn't for us.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I was a little bit lost for a second there. Okay.
Guys, I'm so sorry. We're gonna have to wrap up. Vlado, thank you so much for your pitch. We've run a little bit over time, but thank you.
Love what you're doing, Vlado.
Thank you
Absolutely
so much,
amazing.
yeah.
It's definitely the right area to kind of focus on these days.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Bye. Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. We had a million tech issues in this room tonight. We have one final startup, Martin, who we had before. Hopefully he'll be able to hear us and we'll be able to hear him now.
All right. Hello, everybody, and I'm very sorry about the technical problems. Healthy Stop is pioneering a new form of treatment for alcohol and drug addiction in the UK. It's based on a successful US model, which has proven that day treatment is as effective as residential, but costs 10% of the cost. Can you move the slides on, please?
Yes.
Can you move on to another one? The problem in the UK is that 97% of people who've got an addiction problem are failing to reach the right level of support. That's because of the huge cost and the disruption to daily life. Next slide. But the market is shifting in perception, rise in outpatients. COVID-19 is having a huge effect, and digital is taking off. Next slide. So, Healthy Stop Stay Hab is a breakthrough. 76% success rate. That means that after 9 months, 76% of clients are still clean and sober. There's a choice of two types of treatment. One is face-to-face, which costs £3,000 for 160 hours. The other is online, costing £1,250 for 68 hours. Next slide. We've had some wonderful testimonials from some very happy clients who said that we turned their life around. Next slide. Digital Day Hab was launched just after the start of lockdown and has been a sensational success, and it really has turned the business around. Next slide. We're opening a detox unit in northwest London shortly, the next few months. Some clients need detox before they can start their treatment program. Next slide. Those are our projections for the number of clients over the next year based on our West London unit, digital and detox. Next slide. This is our journey. So we opened in September 2019. We have one unit in West London, and we have a digital program which is proving extremely successful. We are seeking to open a detox unit and one new central London unit in 2021. Next slide. We have a very high-powered board and management team. I'm non-executive director in charge of fundraising. Tim is the CEO and founder of the business. Stephen is a very experienced operator in the healthcare market, ex-Priory Group, having sold 2 healthcare businesses very successfully.
30 seconds.
Next slide. So this is our financial projection. So going on up to 2024, 6.5 million with an EBITDA of 3 million. Next slide. seeking 1.25 million for this raise. That's going to represent about 29% of the business, and the mid-case EBITDA in. So next slide. Recap. Nearly everybody who has got an addiction problem, they're failing to get the right treatment because of the very high cost, residential, and the disruption to life. Dayhab is a breakthrough. Digital is now a core part of our business. We're launching a detox unit and one new central London unit. This is an entirely scalable business model, and we're targeting an exit after 4 years via a trade sale, targeting a return to investors of 8 times. And that's before the benefit of tax relief.
Thank you, Martin. Judges?
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Martin. I think this is clearly such a big problem, and one that hasn't really had a lot of tech innovation at all, which is sad in general, but sadder when there's like real human lives at stake. I'd be curious to hear a little bit about how you guys benchmark the success rate versus some of the peers that do more traditional overnight or digital only.
So our success rate is similar to the success rate in the US. So that's to say about 75% of people clean and sober 9 months after they finish their course of treatment. Very often people who go into residential treatment, they relapse quite quickly after they come out because it's such a traumatic experience, it's such a disruption to their life.
And then can you also explain a little bit about the digital solution that you guys have and how tech is sort of helping the offering?
Yeah, well, it's based on Zoom technology, and it's just meeting your counselor, your therapist online, and doing group sessions online rather than in a room. So it's exactly the same as face-to-face. But it's via a Zoom call.
Sounds good.
Martin, just one question from my side really, is I'm interested in the 4-year exit that you spoke about. I mean, what's the plan for being able to achieve that? I mean, do you have kind of a inbuilt pipeline? Do you have kind of a trade sale set up? Do you know who you're going to be exiting to? What's the valuation now versus valuation then, etc.?
We think the business will be very attractive to a trade buyer. Our immediate objective is to conquer London, so to end up with about 5 units across London, plus the digital. And the detox unit, and at that stage look for a trade buyer to buy the business and to expand it then across the rest of the country, possibly also to expand it overseas in continental Europe. We're finding that lots of people are signing up for our digital program from overseas countries. So we've got people from France, Germany, Italy, Switzerland. We've got one person from Russia who is doing treatment via Help Me Stop. So we think it would be very attractive to a trade buyer. EBITDA multiples in this sector are typically, historically, between 9 and 13. So all our modeling has been based on an assumption of a 10 times EBITDA multiple.
Thank you, Mark. We made it after all the tech problems. We can beat technology.
And love the resilience that you showed there, Martin. Well done.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you, Martin. Great. Okay, guys, that is a wrap up. We're finished with all the startups we put through. Martin, thank you so much once again. Bye-bye. So thank you to all the startups, first of all, and thank you to our judges, and thank you for the patience for everyone. Judges, if you would like to go to the feedback room, Andrew is waiting for you there to discuss a little bit about today's event. To everyone else, thank you so much for joining and sticking through with us, and I hope to see you again. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks ever so much, Maria. Bye-bye.
Thanks so
Take
much.
care.